What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster, and it isn't a rumor, it is not a figment of anyone's imagination, it is simply common sense, at this point observable by anyone paying attention. If Nelson Peltz and his ally, Rasulo, get put on the Disney board, they will absolutely push for things that we've wanted in this space for a long time, like Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige being removed from their positions.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Now, this isn't to suggest that it will happen. We've heard rumors about Kathleen Kennedy for years, and I personally have gotten my hopes up too many times to get too excited any longer. However, we've got a video to watch that was made by the Trian Group, which are trying to put Nelson Peltz and Rasulo onto the Disney Board of Directors. And as I covered a few weeks ago, they would be replacing the two members who are currently in charge of the committee that makes moves hiring and firing Disney executives. This gives me at least a smidgen of hope. In this video, Rasulo tells us, in no uncertain terms, that one of the most important parts of what they're doing is fixing the storytelling at Disney. In other words, these are our guys, fighting back against wokeness so that our collective culture can get one step closer to burying this disgusting, divisive ideology in the dirt where it belongs.
Hey, what's that you got on your face?
Huh?
Blah, blah, blah. See how that works?
Alright, me hearties, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter or X or whatever the kids are calling it these days. My handle there is Dr. Disaster 1. But let's not beat around the bush any longer. Here is the video of Rasulo, which is very interesting and tells us everything we need to know about what these guys would do if they were put onto the board at Disney.
I think some of the most important things to focus on at the Walt Disney Company are, first and foremost, creative content. Something's broken in the creation of creative content. I think from the very start, back in the 30s, when Walt created the first feature animated film, it started the Disney flywheel. In fact, Walt invented the Disney flywheel, that you could take something that pleased people in a movie theater, make it into consumer products, ultimately put it into Disneyland as rides and attractions. Animation is so key to the Walt Disney Company, so key to the success and the running of the flywheel, that to imagine that the Walt Disney Company has lost its iconic status in animation today is almost unbelievable, and personally, it really affects me, because this is how we created success when I was at the company.
I like you a lot.
First things first, keep in mind the context of what they are trying to accomplish here. The Trian Group is trying to get put on the board of directors, which requires them to get voted in by the shareholders of Disney. With that in mind, they have to couch their message in financial terms. They talk about Disney films and animation in terms of how it lost the company money over the last few years. But it is not hard to see that underlying this guy's message is a longing for a restoration of culture as well. I mean, for Pete's sake, the video is put under the header Mending Broken Dreams on their website, Restoring the Magic. So culturally, it is pretty evident to me that they want to see a change in the culture. After all, as you may remember, Nelson Peltz, the head of the Trian Group, was seen palling around with Elon Musk recently, which I suspect will play a big part in the vote that takes place in a few months. But that's a topic for another day.
Go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Culturally, I feel like these guys are spot on, but it's not hard for them to make their case economically. The reason they have any traction right now, which isn't to say that I think it's guaranteed they'll be put on the board or anything, but the real reason they have any traction at all to fight against the evil corporate empire that is Disney is because Disney has shown they've got some cracks in the armor in the past few years. Look at all the major failures they've suffered at the box office as a result of the divisiveness that they've fostered. These failures include The Eternals, Lightyear, Strange World, Ant-Man Quantumania, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, The Marvels, Haunted Mansion, and Wish. In fact, the only movie that's really done well for them the last year was Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and there's no good reason for all of these movies to be shitting the bed. There's lots of bad reasons, like pushing strange, divisive ideas into their films that are outside of cultural norms. They insist on focusing on the immutable characteristics of the people they put on screen because fostering division, pointing out differences, has made them money in the past, and they're trying to change our culture. They won't allow us to heal our wounds and come together as a people. But the people ain't having it anymore. Wokeness has become toxic. It's become radioactive. It was already toxic as an idea, but now it is downright poisonous to be attached to wokeness economically. The mask is off these jackanapes, and people are avoiding most of their films. Hell, even Bob Iger acknowledges that there's something wrong with Disney films these days.
Is there a problem, though, at Disney Animation? Has the loss of John Lasseter years ago, for example, been a blow that you haven't been able to recover from?
Well, first of all, the studio and its movie assets are #1 at the global box office this year so far. That said, we're extremely realistic, and I'm very objective about that business, and there have been some disappointments. We would have liked some of our more recent releases to have performed better. It's reflective, not as a problem from a personnel perspective, but I think in our zeal to basically grow our content significantly to serve our mostly our streaming offerings, we ended up taxing our people way beyond, in terms of their time and their focus, way beyond where they had been. Marvel's a great example of that. They had not been in the TV business at any significant level. Not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of television series. And frankly, it diluted focus and attention. And I think you're seeing that is, I think, more the cause than anything else.
Now, clearly, Bob Iger disagrees with the cause of the problems behind their films. He seems to think that they've been failing because people are overworked at his company. And I will agree that much of what we're seeing on screen from them seems lazy. But they continually, as a company, refuse to acknowledge the division they've created with a large segment of their former fans. The only time they mention us is when they're blaming us for their failures, which is a bit paradoxical. Supposedly, there's enough of us to sometimes create so-called targeted review bombing campaigns that make their movies look really bad on Rotten Tomatoes, but there's not enough of us boycotting their movies to make any financial difference. Obviously, they're full of shit, and hopefully the guys at Trian get put on the board. As I said at the top of the video, it isn't just a rumor or wishful thinking. These guys are clearly on our side, and I'd love to see them push executives like Kennedy and Feige out of their current positions.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.